Hi everybody, Marie here, and today is my second weekly wrap-up in May. So last week I tried to catch up a little bit on readings that I was putting off. I knew that I had 2 readathons coming up this week that I'm in right now. And I've been putting off a few books from other readathons that I started earlier. So this was one of those, let's try to get all those done. So the first thing I read was Hours of the Bees by Lindsay Egger. This was an ARC copy that I got from the publisher and author, and I am absolutely glad I did. It was a very touching story. It is about a 12-year-old girl that has to go to her grandfather's ranch for the summer instead of staying home and spending it with her family. Her grandfather has dementia, and they have to go and they pack up his things and stuff. While she's there, she has to put up with her father grumbling and groaning and his pissed off attitude, and her older sister who is selfish and doesn't want to help out. And then you have Carol, who is babysitting her little brother while she's there and has to technically babysit her grandfather too. So her grandfather ends up telling her these stories, and as the story goes on, we start to wonder, are these stories real or are they made up? The lines between reality and magical are sort of blurred. So it was kind of interesting because it had you thinking the entire time of if this was actually real. So it was a nice little story about coming of age and how important your roots are. I didn't have too many problems with this story. The one annoying thing I had was the emphasis on Carol's name, because in Spanish her name would be Carolina, and the author kept writing it out Carolina. And I think, the first couple of times to get the understanding of that's how he's pronouncing it, yes. But to continue it throughout the book kind of annoyed me, but it didn't annoy me enough that it took away from the book for me. I think I read somewhere that this is technically actually geared towards middle grade, but I think that anybody from middle grade up should read this book. It is an amazing book. Even for an adult to read. It was a fast-paced book, and I would highly recommend it. Then I read City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This is the final installment in the Mortal Instruments series. This was my favorite book out of the series, and I think that might be common for a lot of people that actually get this far. Don't get me wrong, I love this series, but there is a lot of things that are wrong with it. A lot of the complaints that everybody else had. But I really liked the Shadowhunter world, so a lot of the problems that I had with it, I kind of just file somewhere in my head as I'm reading it. But this last book I found was completely different than the first 5. It was enjoyable to read. It was wrapped up nicely. The characters didn't annoy me as much as what they would have in previous books. Would I buy this book? Yes, because I really do want to purchase the series. I like the series, and it will be a series that I will reread again. Would I recommend it to others? It's the last book in a series, and for a lot of people, this is a hit or miss series. So if you don't like the series, then no, I'm not going to recommend it at all. Then I read The Council of Evil by Andy Briggs, and this I think is a middle grade read. I wasn't too, it didn't tickle my fancy. It's about a boy who is tagged as a bully in school, and he ends up downloading superpowers from the internet. The premise of the book really appealed to me. That's why I picked it up. But as I got reading it, it really is, if I was gonna buy this book for somebody, it would be for a young boy. But for me to read it, I would want it more. I would want more from this book. I didn't find that there was a lot on the superpowers. It was just he downloaded them. You didn't really even know what he downloaded. A lot of it was just the fight between him and his supervillain buddy and other people, the superheroes. Then I read Kingdom Hearts, the Final Mix, Volume 2, and also Volume 1. My husband borrowed these from somebody from work, so I had to fill them in throughout my day, even though he never took them back today, so I'm filming with them. I love these. I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan. I absolutely adore it. Final Fantasy mixed with Disney? Hell yeah. So this was a great surprise for me. So I would recommend this to anybody that loves Kingdom Hearts. I would recommend it to anybody that loves Final Fantasy and Disney. For those that don't know, it's about a boy, Sora, and his friends who try to leave this tropical island and find other worlds. They end up getting swept away to this other world. On another note, then you have Donald and Goofy. King Mickey goes missing. So they have to go and find him. Goofy and Donald ended up meeting up with Sora, and the adventures start there of them trying to find their friends and going to all the different types of Disney places, like to Aladdin and Alice in Wonderland. Then I read Lock and Key Volume 3 by Joe Hill, and I've already read the first 2 volumes, obviously, and this graphic novel is one that I absolutely love. It is filled with horror-ish type things, and there's not too much I can say about this volume, but anybody that likes like the Stephen King-ish and the horror-ish type of stuff, I would recommend this one. I like the graphics, and I think the storyline is very intriguing. So I would definitely recommend this to anybody that likes graphic novels and is looking for something new. And lastly, I read The Hobbit by Tolkien, and technically I didn't read it. I was looking for another audiobook because I'm in the middle of doing the readathon, and I didn't want something that was going to take away from that, but something I could listen to during, cleaning and stuff. So I picked The Hobbit to listen to. And I ended up, my library, I didn't realize it at the time, but my library had the BBC radio copy that was done back in 1970, I think, or something like that. It holds really true to the book. I skimmed through it as I was listening to it, so it does hold really true to the book. And it was just like watching a movie almost in my head, like listening to the movie. I have to say, I really did like it. There was probably a little bit of distortion sometimes that I didn't pick up on certain grumblings or certain important information, but the majority of it I really did enjoy, and I'm glad that I had the experience to be able to listen to that. I have a copy of The Hobbit of my own, so I will probably end up doing another reread at some point in time to read it, because unfortunately I haven't read any Tolkien. I really want to read The Lord of the Rings, but see, the copy I have is, where am I, backwards? Right here, which is all 3 copies in one, and it's kind of intimidating. So I've been putting it off. So that's what I read last week, and I had a pretty big week of reading. It didn't actually feel like it. This week is running a little bit slower, which is unfortunate because I'm in the middle of the Buddy Bookathon and also #AboutABooks. So I was hoping to read a little more than what I actually am. I hope everyone has a wonderful reading week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.